The story of Michael Jackson's relationship with time, luxury, and anonymity is a fascinating study of a man who lived his life under a microscope while simultaneously trying to disappear. When we examine the specific horological preferences of the King of Pop, we find a narrative that mirrors his own complexity, a blend of high-status signaling and a desperate practical need for normalcy. In the height of his victory era and beyond, it became clear that Jackson's choices in wristwear were never accidental. While the world saw the sequins and the military regalia, his choice of watches, ranging from the iconic Rolex Day-Date to the humble, colorful Swatch, acted as a bridge between his public persona and his private role as a protective father. Jackson was known for his flamboyant signature style, yet his collection reveals a surprisingly nuanced understanding of when to shine and when to fade into the background. To understand Michael Jackson's watch collection, one must first look at his affinity for golden models. For a performer of his stature, the Rolex Day-Date was more than just a timepiece. It was a symbol of global dominance. Often crafted in 18K yellow gold, the Day-Date, affectionately known in watch circles as the President, matched the golden braids, medals, and gilding of his iconic stage costumes. The warm luster of gold resonated with Jackson's aesthetic of royalty. However, despite this love for the prestige of Rolex, Jackson was notoriously particular about the physical fit of a watch on his wrist. He was a man of slender build and precise movements. His hands were some of the most photographed and scrutinized in history, often wrapped in tape or covered by a single shimmering glove. Because of this, Jackson reportedly steered clear of certain Rolex models, particularly the larger, bulkier tool watches like the Submariner or the Sea Dweller. He felt that these heavier, stainless steel professional models lacked the elegance he required and didn't fit nicely against his wrist. To Jackson, a watch that felt cumbersome was an intrusion on his fluidity as a dancer and a performer. He preferred the streamlined classic 36mm profile of the Day-Date, which sat flush against the skin and didn't snag on his intricate sleeves. This preference for comfort and silhouette extended into his private life, but with a drastically different objective. While the gold Rolex served the King of Pop, the private Michael required something entirely different. Despite the opulence that defined his public appearances, Jackson was a man who frequently donned elaborate disguises to shield his children, Prince, Paris, and Michael III, famously known as Blanket. In the quest to give his children a semblance of a normal childhood, Jackson realized that a gold Rolex was a massive liability. A glimmer of 18K gold at a toy store or a theme park was a beacon for paparazzi and fans. To combat this, Jackson developed a deep appreciation for low-profile brands like Casio and Swatch. These watches were not just accessories, they were essential components of his camouflage. By wearing a simple plastic timepiece, he stripped away one of the most recognizable markers of extreme wealth, allowing him to blend into the crowd as just another father out for the day. A pivotal moment in understanding this dual identity occurred in 1999, as recounted by the prominent British watch seller Paul Thorpe. Thorpe's story offers a rare, intimate look at Jackson's genuine interest in watch collecting. When Thorpe met him, he didn't find him draped in the expected jewelry of a multimillionaire. Instead, he observed that Jackson was sporting a bright red Casio. The image of the most famous man on the earth wearing a digital watch that could be purchased at any local department store is a testament to Jackson's rejection of traditional snobbery. During their meeting, the duo discussed the intricacies of collecting. Jackson noted that while he possessed an extensive and valuable Rolex collection, he frequently opted for Swatches and Casios in his daily life. He wasn't wearing them ironically, he genuinely enjoyed their simplicity and the freedom they afforded him. These simple watches allowed him to participate in everyday experiences with his children, walking through parks, visiting bookstores, or simply sitting in a movie theater, without the constant fear that a luxury watch would betray his identity. The M Swatch and the Red Casio became symbols of Michael Jackson's desire for a quiet life. The Swatch, with its endless variety of colors and artistic designs, appealed to Jackson's creative sensibilities. They were pop art for the wrist, fun, lightweight, and entirely unassuming. For Jackson, the transition from a gold date to a plastic swatch was a psychological shift. It was the movement from the king back to the father. This duality is perhaps the most touching aspect of his horological history. He owned the finest watches in the world, yet he found the most utility in the ones that cost the least. He understood that time is the one thing a superstar cannot buy more of, and he chose to spend his private time wearing watches that didn't demand attention. Furthermore, his use of these watches speaks to his meticulous nature. Every detail of his life was choreographed, including his disguise outfits. He knew that the paparazzi were trained to look for specific signs of celebrity: expensive shoes, high-end jewelry, and luxury watches. By intentionally steering clear of his Rolexes during family outings, he was exercising a form of tactical urban survival. The Red Casio Thorpe mentioned wasn't just a watch, it was a tool for freedom. It provided the accuracy needed to keep a tight schedule, something Jackson was famous for, without the weight of fame attached to it. It allowed him to be present for Prince, Paris, and Michael III in a way that felt authentic rather than performative. In conclusion, Michael Jackson's watch collection is a microcosm of his entire existence. It features the tension between the public's expectation of brilliance and his own internal need for protection. The golden models, like the Rolex Day-Date, represented the height of his professional achievement, the victory of his career. They were the watches of a man who conquered the charts and redefined the music industry. But the Swatches and Casios represented the victory of his heart, the moments where he could just be a dad. Paul Thorpe's 1999 encounter serves as a beautiful reminder that beneath the global icon was a man who appreciated the simple things. A man who could talk shop with a watch seller and find joy in a red plastic digital display. Jackson's legacy is often discussed in terms of his music and his controversies, but in the quiet ticking of a Swatch or the silent glow of a Casio, we find a more relatable Michael. A man trying to balance the heavy gold of his crown with the lightweight plastic of a normal life, all while keeping a watchful eye on the time he had left with the people he loved most. Through his watches, he navigated a world that wouldn't let him be ordinary, using the most ordinary of objects to steal back a few minutes of peace. This balance of the flamboyant and the functional, the gold and the plastic, the icon and the individual, remains one of the most fascinating behind-the-scenes elements of Michael Jackson's extraordinary life. It reminds us that even for the king of pop, the most precious thing a watch can track isn't status, but the quiet, unscripted moments shared with family, hidden away from the flashbulbs and the fame. Michael Jackson knew that a Rolex could tell the world who he was, but a Swatch could help the world forget him for a while. And in that forgetting, he found his only true escape. He favored the Casio and the Swatch not because they were better watches in a technical sense, but because they were better for the life he wanted to lead when the cameras were finally turned off. This thoughtful approach to his personal style and his children's safety cements his status not just as a style icon, but as a deeply protective and intentional father, navigating the complexities of his own fame 1 second at a time.